Hey everybody, well, can you believe it? Once again, it's Friday. Yes, I've said it, it is Friday. As always, welcome to everybody on LinkedIn and on my YouTube channel at Lee Foster Official for the Newpreneur cast. This is my opportunity once a week to have the opportunity to catch up with connections, with members, with new contacts that I've made and have an open discussion over a cuppa or two and really delve into the topic that we're going to discuss every single week. Now, here's the thing, everybody. How much time do you dedicate to planning your time management? It's a good question, isn't it? Every person I ask in business, when I'm having a one-to-one meeting, when I'm going to another event, when I'm hosting my own events, the biggest challenge I hear from the conversation is, hey, Lee, I have not got enough time in the week to do what I need to do. I'm too busy. I can't go to that. I'm too busy. I need to schedule some time in next week, but they don't schedule the time in. The biggest commodity that we've got in business is time. And in our first year business, we sometimes forget about it. Wouldn't you agree? Massively agree. So this week, I've got the great pleasure to welcome along a lady who's been a great connection of mine now for many, many months. And she's been helping many people with scheduling their time a lot better, using their time more effectively, and really getting the most out of their business with taking some time for them to give them more time back to work on themselves and to work in their business even more. Can you please welcome with me today and this week on the Newpreneur cast, the one and only Tracy Franz of TopPA Consulting. Tracy, how are you today?
I'm really well, thanks. Thanks, Lee, and it's great to be here with you. Hello, everyone.
Eventually, we've got our desk working okay, everybody, this morning. So the desk wasn't working well, so we've got that working.
Yes.
So I think there's Friday gremlins that come up sometimes with us all, with things that happen on a Friday. But
exactly, yeah,
absolutely superb. Have you got a cup of coffee ready?
I have just finished my coffee, but that's enough. Oh, I've actually still got a little bit here. Yes, I've got some coffee.
Brilliant. Well, we'll talk. We spoke about this a few months back, and you very kindly accepted the invite to come along. So, just to start with, just to give people a bit of a backdrop of where you came from, Tracy, where did it all begin for you, and when was your first year in business?
Okay, so how far do you want me to go back? Right, I spent a lot. I think my whole career has been around time management. Has been about project management. Administration. Doing all the things behind the scenes to make things happen. So I was in oil and gas for a long time, and I was literally herding cats and keeping everyone together and, looking after a project team all around the world. So that was very much about time management, making sure that things happened. We worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but there was a lot that needed to happen during that time. I think I got to a point 8 years ago now, and my business has actually been open for 8 years as of April. So I started my business because I wanted to have some time. I wanted to be able to, walk my dog and be at home. I was away from home for 6 to 9 months of the year, and it got to a point where I just needed to have a life, have that balance, and that's when I started my business. So it was 8 years ago, 2017. I launched my business in 2017. That's where I started.
Do you know, when you think back to then though, Tracy, right? Did you ever contemplate scheduling time? We spoke about this a few months back, right? And did that ever cross your mind at all?
No.
Why did that not cross your mind for?
You know what? It was a part of it. Everything. It was always a part of it, but it wasn't something that I consciously thought about, because it was all about, let's get this business going. Let's make it work. You know what I mean? I knew in the beginning I was going to work hard, and then I would have to. I mean, you always have to work hard, but I put in a lot of hours to get the business to where I need to go. but I was also doing the work. So I was working in the business and I wasn't working on my business. It was like, how can I support the clients? How can I do this? What can I do? So yeah, that was it. So no, I never thought about time management as I do now. It's
the word time management though as well, Tracy, is interesting because where it comes from is managing what time we have available in the week that we work.
yeah,
And also, I think discussion today is that people forget about taking time out for themselves or scheduling time in
exactly.
for them, not
Exactly.
their business.
Yeah. And that's why I prefer to call it time efficiency. Let's be efficient with our time. So what do we need to use our time for when it comes to work? And where do we need to put the time in to create that balance? We talk about that work-life balance. For me, it's very much about work-life efficiency. Where's the synergy between your work and your life? And it all goes back to, what do you personally want? And that's why for me, time management is very much connected to that overall vision you have for your life. So it's, oh God, don't even get me started going off on that tangent, please.
It's something I've thought about at the beginning of this year, really, and it's sort of like getting the balance right between work-life balance.
Yes.
We talk
Yes.
about this loads. Everybody's watching or listening today is probably thought in some way, shape, or form, I
Yeah.
should have spent more time out of the business today. I've been working too late. I've been working over the weekend. Did I
Yes.
need to really do that? It's too late to fix it once it's been done.
Yeah.
But, one of the big things I looked at the beginning of this year was that I wanted to really get everything conciliated into sort of like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
But I've always been a bit of a planner. So, even in my sales career and when I worked in a holiday company beforehand in my sales team, I used to always plan my 12 months ahead of myself. And
Yes.
some people thought I was crackers doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
But the initial sort of planning ahead, is that something that you do as well now?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. For me, it's so important, and this is the thing, is that even in my personal life, I'm a planner. I mean, I can spend weeks planning how a cupboard's going to look before I actually pull everything out of that cupboard
Yeah.
and put it back all in again. I can look at a fridge and say, okay, maybe, and then I'll go away and I'll spend a whole week thinking about how I'm going to rearrange my fridge. So, when the planning is very much about, and it's all come down for me now to time saving. How can I plan this to save myself time? So, and that's where I say that whole connection with your vision in life is, how can I get there, but making sure that I have the balance and that I'm using my time efficiently. So, I mean, like you say, you know what I mean? You spent, for you, doing all that planning has put you into a place where you can relax, don't you think so? That you can actually breathe and I feel like I'm in a good place now. I feel like I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You
It,
know?
it, it's another interesting fact because I've taken time out at the beginning of this week, and I know we spoke about in length as well, but dedicating that time as you know, I take a Thursday away now as family day.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting your Thursday.
No, it's okay, it's fine. That's all right. I don't mind it now and again. If it's starting happening more and more, hang on a minute. But no,
Okay.
no, I mean taking time out on a Thursday, and I've actually updated my Google Business opening times as well.
Good.
People can get access to me. But then a Friday for me is a flexi day.
Yeah.
So I'll dedicate a few hours in the morning, but the rest of the afternoon is for me to do whatever I want to do.
Yes.
If it's doing something just for me, if it's reading, if it's personal development, if it's just even, may I say this, playing golf.
Well, exactly.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, because
And
I
we
think,
know how much you love doing that.
well, I love doing it. It doesn't mean that I'm any good at it. Right. So I do love doing it. But
Yeah.
do you schedule your week like that as well now, or is it more?
Yes. So, at the moment I'm still working a 5-day week. But I do take time out when I need it. So, for example, I have got my Fridays blocked out. So nobody can go in and book a time in my day. unless I feel that it's important and it needs to be in there, I'll put it in there. This afternoon, I mean, I've got things in my calendar that are blocked out. This is what I want to do this afternoon. But I've had a very busy week. I've been doing a course which has taken me until 10 o'clock every night. So I'm going to shut off early today and go shopping with my friend, So it's very much about listening to myself and understanding what I need at that particular time, Not saying that you don't do what you need to do. So my day is scheduled, it's planned. This is my work day. This is what I need to do. And I, as much as I possibly can, stick to my schedule. But there are the times where you've got to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing about time as well. When you're talking about time management and being efficient with your time and balancing it, it's not about always looking at the big picture. It's also about looking at those small little times, So take that 10 minutes to walk outside into the garden and breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
Between tasks, that in itself can give you more focus.
Yeah.
So there is, I mean, time, when someone says to me, I haven't got time, and I've said that, I say it all the time, I haven't got time to do this, but then I've always got to pull myself back and say, well, what am I doing that I'm not creating that time?
Yeah.
How can I better manage my time to be able to create that time? But you don't know what you don't know.
No. There's one that I got I was chatting to somebody again, it was not last week, the week before, and they set themselves time limits for each project that they do through their day. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, that to me is where you said before, feeling uncomfortable, being comfortable.
Yes.
So I just like to go with the flow and do it. But I'm thinking now I'm actually embracing setting a 1 hour timer or a 30-minute timer. And I did like what he was saying. It was like 30-minute blocks.
Yes.
To do the project. So he sets a timer like an egg timer or something on his desk.
Yeah.
That's 30 minutes. And then literally, right, I've got my action points that I want to do today, my action jobs.
Yeah.
Job number 1, set the timer for 30 minutes. And I need to get it done in 30 minutes. And it just gives you a complete focus. And then one of the big things you just mentioned there, he says, after that 30 minutes, go and take a walk.
Yeah.
Go outside in the garden, switch off. Don't have the phone, anything.
Exactly.
Just try and switch off for 10 minutes if you can.
Yeah. I mean, it could even be 5 minutes, So do you find that technique is working for you now?
It has, with my new realignment this week of like, now I've got like Monday to Wednesday is where I do all my events and all my meetings and everything else goes into that. And it's made me more focused on getting tasks done.
Okay.
And I'm always about scheduling. So
Yes.
I'll schedule my meetings. When I speak to someone, I say, right, I've got this day, and it's a first come, first serve basis. Once they fill up, that's me. If I'm working from home, I'll set the time back. I've started embracing it, to be brutally honest. I started embracing it more a little bit last week and more importantly this week.
Okay.
Tracy. And it's really invigorating and putting like a 30-minute timer and going, right, I need to get this instead of procrastination.
Yes.
Yeah, that, right?
Yeah.
Procrastinate about everything. So I just decided to do that, and it just keeps me focused on get it done.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Sorted.
And the reason I'm asking you that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are listening to us today, is that could be very overwhelming for them.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that there's a different method for every single one of us.
Correct.
Every single one of us have a way of working, our different personality styles. So that resonates with you. But for me, I think that would be overwhelming for me.
Really?
To put a timer. Yeah.
Okay.
So I do block my time out, and I do have 2 hours that I'm going to work on that. But the minute I try and put Clockify on or Toggle on or something to try and track my time there, it's overwhelming for me. So that's why it's all about finding the technique that works for you, that fits what resonates with your heart, with your soul, with your way of working. That for me is the ground roots of time management.
Yeah.
It's
the same when I've been driving as well, to share this. I don't know if you do this, but when I'm driving, if I'm going to, I did it in the travel industry. So I knew we called it the downtime.
Yes.
It's a downtime, we called it in sales. And as our VP of sales and our president of sales in the United States used to say to us, what you do in your downtime between meetings.
Yeah.
And what he meant was the traveling time.
Yeah.
So I used to put key tasks in that downtime of a phone call, maybe 2 phone calls in like a 2-hour drive I've got somewhere, or maybe 1 phone call to make in that hour's drive.
Yeah.
And it makes it more productive. Okay, I need to speak to Tracy, I need to speak to Kevin, I need to speak to this, that, and the other. And I just phone them up, and that give me more conversations through the week. You ever
Yes.
done that before, like the downtime?
No, I haven't, but that's actually quite a good technique. I'm going to try that actually. Yeah. Well, you see, I mean, I don't travel a lot either. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, you could fit that into your day even if you're not traveling. What I do is I like to make phone calls, like if I'm making a cup of coffee or if I'm, making my breakfast or my lunch or whatever, I'll take my phone. If I've got someone to talk to, then we'll make that call.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's normally the personal calls that happen during that time.
Yeah.
So, catch up with someone in South Africa or speak to my bestie or something like that,
See,
So,
through the week, I mean, I've got a habit because I'll do, as I drove back from Stirling on Tuesday this week,
mhm.
and I had 3 phone calls I had to make in that time because I was going to be on the road for about maybe 45 minutes, stuck in traffic. What a surprise.
Yeah.
So I'll be stuck somewhere. But as I started to travel more lately between locations, like say Aberdeen, if I'm traveling up in the morning, that might not be the case to do it, but I'll listen to a podcast or something,
Yes.
personal development on the way up, or something that's going to sharpen what I'm going to talk about on the day.
Mhm.
But I did it on Tuesday and I had 3 phone calls to make. So those phone calls I made, when I stopped the car, I made notes of follow-ups that I need to put in place with them.
Yes.
And so it's a real good use of time. I don't think people use it as much as they should do, really.
No,
But
exactly. And it also depends on how you're traveling. So if you're
yeah,
actually driving in a car, then sometimes it's not the best place to make the phone calls.
no,
If you're in a train, it's perfect. You know what I mean? I would think that is, and I mean, I get a lot of work done. If I'm having to travel and I'm on a train, I get a lot done. Not
yeah.
so much phone calls because it's not always great reception.
Not
But
phone calls. Wi-Fi is usually sketchy when it's on there as well. But
yeah,
I think for me, and especially with the way I've talked to many people, is capitalizing the time that I've got
yes,
and making the best use of that time.
exactly.
Because I've
Yeah.
looked. Have you
And
ever done
doesn't
it?
that all come down to scheduling again and to planning ahead?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have one diary or do you have 2 diaries?
One.
One.
Yeah.
Somebody the other day I was speaking to had 3.
In terms of 3 different calendars?
3 calendars, diaries, you want to call it. So I have a manual diary. So there's a
Okay.
little top tip, a little for everybody. I always have a manual one, and I get it
Yes.
every single year at the end of the year.
Okay.
And I sit down for a good day and just plan out my 2025, 2026. Just, I call it the skeleton plan.
Okay.
So I
Mm-hmm.
pencil everything in and I have a look at it. But this is what I put in first:
Yeah.
holidays, bank holidays, time off, all that goes in first.
All your personal time needs to go in first.
And then lock everything else into it. My
Yeah.
missus thinks I don't do that, but I do that, right? So, yeah, put everything
But
in.
don't you find that's the first thing that goes when you have something to do or some
Yeah,
personal, in terms
yeah,
of when you're busy, it's the first thing to go is that personal time. And that's why I always treat people when you're building your baseline calendar, always put in your personal tasks first,
yeah. Do you ever get that you talk about that's the first thing to go, but you always get that tap on your door. You said you're going to finish at such and such, and it's literally half an hour, 45 minutes later. Well, it's not a hard stop. You always find something else to do, and that's the
Yeah.
hard part.
Yes.
It's going right. It's 6 o'clock. I said I was going to switch off. Everything gets shut off. Everything gets put away, and I've made a real beeline on that this year.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you do anything like that as well?
I am very good at walking away from my desk at 5 o'clock on
Good.
most days. Yes, there are the days when I feel I need to work a bit more. As I said, I've been doing this course. So, but what I've started doing now, even now, because the course I'm doing is online and I'm not going to be on screen or anything. I've
Yeah.
been taking my laptop and going and sitting on my bed and doing it, or sitting in the lounge or something like that, just to get away from the desk because I don't want to get back into the habit of being at my desk after 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah. So, and I'm very good now as well on the weekend, walking past this room and not even coming. I don't even come. Sometimes, even if I've got flowers over here, I've got to remember to come in here and water the flowers or open the blinds so that the flowers can get some fresh, some light.
That's another part as well, though, is that this is the challenge that I speak to many people about in their first year of business, especially now, though, Tracy, because I think a lot of people now are working from home compared to what they used to work from an office. So let's go with the elephant in the room here, by the way, right? So it's like the COVID word that gets kicked up and everything. People want to get back to in person, which is great, but we're still running our businesses from either our home offices or remote offices.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, shutting the door at the end of the day and not going back in.
Yeah.
And it's quite
easy
to dip back in when you need to.
Yeah. And that's once again brings you back to the planning. And it brings you back to having that baseline calendar, having it all down somewhere about what you're going to do. Because if you plan ahead and your time of what you want to do, when you want to do it, you can fit it into your day.
Yeah.
It is possible. It is possible. So, and it's just finding the techniques, as I say, that work with you.
Do you set goals? So that when you look at like goals and objectives, from my sales background, it was always a goal, an objective of mine to set up my schedule, set up my diary for the month ahead. So for me, it's setting up all my one-to-one meetings. I know where they're going to slot into. Tick, one goal done. Objective. It's not a monetary objective, if you know what I mean. Because in my eyes, if I set up the right schedule and the right plan, that is my business plan as well for the month ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I do very much so. So, I'm sure I've mentioned to you, I mean, I've worked with a business coach, an action coach for the last 8 years as well. So one of the things I've learned is about goal setting. And it's always been something I've always done, but now I do it structured in a structured way. So, but for me, it starts with that vision. That vision that you've got that's way in the future. And working backwards. How are you going to get to that vision? What are you going to do this year? What are you going to do this month? What are you going to do this quarter? So at the moment, I do the 90 days through Action Coach. So every quarter we get together and we work out what our goals are for the following quarter. Then we break it down. What are we going to do this month? What are we going to do this week? What actions are going to need to be taken to make that goal happen? So everything is working towards that personal goal. And it is, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur and if you in your first year of business, if you're starting that business without knowing what you want that end result to be, you're never going to get there.
There's a lot of people I speak to, again, when you ask them in the first year, like first year entrepreneurs, if we could turn the clock back to when we first, I mean, I've been 8 years running my business now. If you could turn the clock back and go, right, okay, what would you tell yourself then about scheduling, about goal setting, about objectives? Did you even think about that in your first year, Tracy?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's just because of the kind of person I am. But, I mean, I've had this vision for many, many, many years. And the pictures on my vision board are very much around that vision now. It wasn't formalized. It wasn't structured. It was something that was in my head. It was a dream. It was a dream, but now has become a concrete goal and a vision that I'm working towards. So when I started my business, and the reason I went with the franchise, with TopPA franchise, was because I knew that I wanted to grow my business beyond my own capacity. I very early on then took on the business coach, which I then learned that I wanted a business that could work without me. So it all just sort of fitted into that vision of mine. It's evolved, it's changed, there's so much more, it's so much bigger than it was then. But I always had an inkling of, I wasn't just doing this. I think the first thing was for me is I wanted something that would allow me to work from home. And that was just my small short-term goal, but then the more you think about it, the more you plan, the more you understand yourself, how you work and what your personality and working style, how they fit together, the more you can structure that vision and that goal.
you've got to push yourself. You have
Yeah.
to push yourself every single day and week and month.
Yeah.
You know, you're just sitting back and thinking, okay, I'll just stick to what I'm doing now. I'm comfortable with that. Well, extend the boundary a bit further. Just see what happens when you want to push that boundary of objective, that goal to that
Yes.
extra. You hear people talk about this all the time. That 1 extra percent or that one client more that you want to speak to. Just go
Yeah.
for it. You never know what's going to happen. It'll work, or it'll be a learning curve,
Yeah.
or it'll be the best ever decision you ever make on that one.
Well, exactly. Why would you make yourself small and think, oh no, that's not for me? And because if you don't try it, you're not going to know.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's one thing I have learned is it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to say yes when you don't feel, you know, because a lot of the times it's that imposter syndrome. It's about that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. You know, that person wouldn't want to speak to me. You know, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Try it. Because once you've done it once, it's going to be easier to do it the
Try
next
it. You
time.
never.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. 100%. Totally 100%. Just to let you know as well, we've got Kimberly Mappinger. Is it Mappinger? I think it's Mappinger that's on there. Kimberly's with us as well, just online. Apologies,
Hi,
Kimberly.
Kimberly.
So you're about a friend of Tracy's. But thanks for joining us on LinkedIn. If you've got any questions or any feedback or anything you want to share on there, please do so, Kimberly. It'd be great to see you. And thanks for joining us on LinkedIn. Anybody else who's watching us at the moment on LinkedIn or my YouTube channel at Lee Foster Official, please feel free to add a comment on. I can get back to the YouTube ones later on, but especially on LinkedIn, it's live, it's interactive. Share your questions, share your feedback, share your insights into where time management fits in for you today, as well as we keep going with this conversation between me and Tracy Franz from TopPA Consulting as well. We've talked about a lot today, and if you're just joining us, we've talked about the scheduling side of it, the default diary, the calendar setup that you're looking to do as well, taking time out for you, which is really important.
Yeah.
Downtime is something I shared, is the traveling time. We're doing a lot more now as well.
Yeah.
Kimberly's getting excited. She says, hey, on there as well. Brilliant. So when I look at it as well, when you're in startup, you're trying to get your business built up from it, Tracy, and you're looking for those objectives, those audacious, big, bold objectives that you want to just hit out the park. As we used to call in sales, the big whales.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, go fishing, you might catch a big whale. And if you catch a big whale, brilliant. But there's no harm in catching a shoal now and again. That just keeps it consistent flow for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we forget about that so much in itself now. So how much time do you dedicate then? Is it a day? Is it a month? How much time do you set aside to review your scheduling, to review where you are on a week or month basis?
The day to day, every day. So I end my day with a 10-minute overview of, well, looking at what am I going to do tomorrow? What is on my day tomorrow?
Yeah.
But quarterly, definitely looking where I am. So what has changed in the last 90 days? Is there anything that I've added? Is there, you know, how is that working for me? You know, but when you're starting out, I mean, that's what I do now quarterly. I mean, I possibly could do it yearly and it would be fine as well, but I'd like to do it. I'd like to keep my hand on it. When you're starting out at the beginning of business, I believe it's something that you would want to do every week. You know, you want to look and see, because you're learning. There's a whole lot of new things that are coming up. Everything is new. Everything is shiny. Everything, you know, you've got all these things that you're trying to negotiate. So what worked for you this week? What were my wins this week? What didn't work? You know, how can I change how I do that? Let me try that, you know. But once again, I have to say, it all goes back to your personality style.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're the type of person who doesn't like the detail, weekly might be too much for you. You know, you might want to just, you know, look at it on high level. So that's where having someone else to help you with it, having your business coach or your time efficiency coach or whatever it is you want to call it, having someone there to just keep you accountable and help you through those things, you know. I mean, we've got AI now. We've got ChatGPT. Have a conversation with them. You know what I mean?
Ask it. It knows more. It knows you better than anybody else.
Yeah, this is how I'm feeling. What do you think? The more they know about you, the better they can answer you.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
funny. I look at daily the look at the end of each and every day, and it's not like 5 o'clock close the doors. It's like it could be early afternoon, and I'm just having a cuppa, and I now look at my daily wins, and I think, okay, what went well today?
Yes.
What could I do a little bit better? And what is my main target for tomorrow if it's a working day?
Yeah.
Then I'll do a weekly roundup, as you've probably seen in the RBC. I'll do a little weekly roundup. I do that on a Saturday morning. I prepare it on a Friday after the day in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I share it over the weekend. I just schedule it and it goes out to everybody. But I like doing my weekly roundup because it looks at all the meetings I've had and it really gives me a deep dive into what's been happening through the whole week.
Yes.
Events that have been running, chats with the ambassadors, chat with my members, chats with my contacts, new connections that I've made this week. And then also taking time to set up in that weekly roundup of thinking, right, what's happening on Monday when I'm starting to do it all again. So nothing really encroaches into anything over the weekend as much as you can do.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is the monthly wins as well. I'll do a snapshot over the month because you've set all that time to set it all up and everything else. You want to just see if you've ticked all the boxes, see what's been the biggest wins for you.
Exactly. And the thing is, when you're looking at daily wins, they don't always have to be big.
No,
they don't even always have to be related to your business.
No, not at all.
I mean, you might be going through a stage where you're just really struggling to get out of bed in the morning,
Yeah.
So it could be a win for the day could be, hey, I was at my desk at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been through that. I've done that. It was like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah. I listened to I did listen to a book and read it as well from Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule.
Yes, I've got the book.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It was a game changer for me, by the way. It wasn't because it was hard for me to get up and things like that, but it was so easy to go, right, just count down from 5.
Yeah.
Right, make it happen. Bang, you just go and do it. And it's also making those procrastinated decisions that you want to make as well.
Yeah.
But you're so right in those daily wins is that, did I do my little workout this morning? Did I do my stretches and exercises? Did I do my cold plunge? Did I go do my little river swimming if I wanted to? We've got somebody who we both know that does that as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm embracing as well going forward.
Well, I'm doing it as well now. So
there you go. Watch the space. But it's those little daily wins that you've got that set time aside for you personally, not just in business. I think that's something that threads all the way through this, Tracy, is that we look at the time out for ourselves so we don't get into burnout because of mental health. You can get a lot of information going to this computer of ours and it can just overtake you completely.
Sorry, I just had to mute myself.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's live. Doesn't matter.
I've got the dog going crazy because the toastie's at the door. Can you give me a second? Well, please, sorry. I just want 1 second.
No problem at all. That's fine. That's no problem at all. We shall hang on and wait a bit longer. As you probably find out with me, I can probably talk for all day if I really wanted to about everything. So if you're watching this just now and you're watching back on it, please feel free to share a question with myself on LinkedIn. Send me a direct message. Send it to Tracy as well. If you've got a direct message, just send it to us and we can answer it for you as well. Even if it's about a wee dog that's on the screen that you can see just now.
I just had to pick her up for a quick moment so she would stop barking.
What breed is she?
Sorry?
What breed?
She's a Cavapoo.
So we've got a Cavapoo. See, we're now digressing into personal stuff, everybody, on this chat today.
As you do.
Yeah, we've got a Cavapoo. My stepdaughter's got a wonderful little Cavapoo called Rosie.
Her name's Leah. Princess Leah.
Princess Leah. Love it.
I think she's a princess. Yeah.
I think there's a few of our members. Mark Thowlis would be very excited. Jay Crown would be excited about seeing the called Princess Leia with the force maybe with you type thing. So Mark's
met her before on a call, I think, as well. Yeah, sorry
So
about that, everyone. Yeah, thank goodness the
that's okay.
postie and I are good friends, because I could just put my head out the window and say, please leave it on the step. I'll get it now.
See, that's what I'm thinking of doing with the Newpreneur cast at some point, because there may be a change in day, possibly, everybody. I'll let you know more about that at some point. But doing some intervals or doing some sort of break with music and things like that, possibly in the future. Watch this space. That's coming soon. So, Tracy, just on the last note, with TopPA, you've redeveloped your own business now. You've gone down that road of actually renamed it.
Well, so here's the thing. So when I started my business, I mean, I became a Smart PA franchisee. So I'm still a Smart PA franchisee. I'm still very invested in the Smart PA.
Yeah.
But becoming a Smart PA franchisee, we do open our own business. So at the same time, so I opened TopPA at the same time as I became Smart PA franchisee 8 years ago. I've always been trading as a Smart PA.
Yeah.
And my virtual assistant business is still very much Smart PA. However, there's a lot of training and coaching and the time efficiency toolkits and all these things that I'm doing, which are a prelude to taking on a virtual assistant.
Like it.
That's a good word for it. I never thought about that before. So that is why I'm doing that through TopPA Consulting, and teaching everybody to find the time in their day that works with their personality and their working style. And when they're ready to start delegating, when they're ready to take a virtual assistant on, that's where Smart PA comes in.
Brilliant.
So it's TopPA Consulting in partnership with Smart PA.
Because you can speak to any client anywhere across the country now, can't you?
Any world, across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, everything I do is online. I mean, I love to get out. I love to network. I love to see people in person. But I can help anyone anywhere, because we all are trying to be efficient with our time.
Yeah, we are indeed. What's your biggest? We've talked about many little top tips today, this morning. What's your biggest top tip you can leave everybody with today about time management, scheduling? What could they implement right now by watching and listening to us right now?
Think about what you need to do for yourself today, and ask yourself, is this aligned with who I am? Is this aligned with my vision? And take it step by step. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There's my elephant.
That's the elephant in the background. Love that. Love that, Tracy. So I would highly recommend that everybody does that. Thanks for sharing that with us, Tracy. And how can everybody get in touch with you the best? I mean, I'll put an engagement on the ticker tape at the bottom about LinkedIn, but is that the best course of action? Just connect with you on LinkedIn?
Connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a message. And yeah, we can get in touch that way. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and I think this is actually live on Facebook at the moment. I don't know. I'll have to go back and have a look. And yeah, and then I can get you my rest of my details, and we can go from there.
Absolutely superb. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me this week. Really appreciate it. We're just coming up to the wrap time, really.
Thanks,
Lee.
Lee.
Try to keep it concise. Thank you to Kimberly for joining us, and many other people who joined us online as well, either
Thanks,
through
Kimberly.
LinkedIn, YouTube channel, or Tracy's Facebook page as well. That's on there. If you want to find out about anything, I can't encourage you enough to reach out to Tracy via LinkedIn, start the conversation. Networking is what I do. Business development, sales is what I've done for over 3 decades, right? So over 35 years now in this. Sales begins with creating great long-term business relationships with individuals. It's investing the time into those relationships for the long-term opportunity, for collaborations, for opportunities, this and the other. So I can't encourage you enough, who's watching and listening to this Newpreneur cast this week, is just reach out to Tracy, our guest, connect on LinkedIn, just grab a cup of coffee and just start to talk.
Yes.
Because you never know what you're going to find if you don't keep talking consistently. It's
Connections is so important. Yeah,
100%. So please reach out to Tracy, have that conversation with everybody. Remember what Tracy was saying today, just implement one thing this week could actually change. How much time can you dedicate to you this week? How much time can you dedicate to reviewing what you're doing? weekly, daily, monthly, however you want to do it. Just review what your actions are. And if it's your first year in business, take time out to review what you're doing, what your actions are, what your objectives are every week. And make sure you're hitting those wins and celebrate those wins that you're doing as well. Really importantly, you celebrate them. Give yourself a pat on the back, even if it's just the one thing you've achieved this week. Well done in doing it. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening as always. Stay tuned for more Newpreneur casts coming up in the weekly schedule on Friday. We've got another one coming up Friday coming at 11 o'clock as well. You can find out about all the information on the Lee Foster official YouTube channel. Save that to notify you when we go live. Connect us on LinkedIn. And also, just a little pointer for you. I'm going to be launching another channel, and it's called Travel Talk with Lee and Alan.
Ooh,
Travel Talk with Lee and Alan goes live on the 2nd of June at 7:30 in the evening for a real half an hour of misadventures, adventures, challenges, top tips, everything from the travel industry, from my background and from Alan's background as well. So watch this space. A shameless plug for one of the new things that I'm doing as well. Thanks again, Tracy Franz from TopPA Consultant. And also thank you to all of you for watching and listening to us today. Take care.